We're approaching the end of the year and I want to use this opportunity to shout out some tech gadgets I got during this year which have proven to be very useful. In this episode we're going to talk about the Elgato Wave XLR. This video is brought to you by Restream. Learn how to use Restream to maximize your reach when streaming online by streaming to multiple live streaming services at once. Use the link in the video description down below to get a $19 Restream discount. Hey there, I'm Greenie, this is Greenbox, and in case you have never before heard of the Elgato Wave XLR, let me get you up to speed real quick. This is a small, compact, digital audio interface which allows you to use higher quality microphones on your computer/streaming setup. This specific unit comes with one XLR input, one standard 3.5mm jack output, as well as a USB connection which is used to power the device as well as connect to a computer. So the reason why I want to give this device a shout out is because this is definitely not my first time I'm using a digital audio interface. However, it is the first digital audio interface I own which is just working. I owned other, more professional grade digital audio interfaces before, but all of them had one big problem in common. They were not easy to set up. This device can just be plugged into any Windows or Mac computer and it just works from the get-go. You don't even need to install the software which comes with the device. Speaking of software, since this is an Elgato Wave product, you get access to the Elgato Wavelink software. This is basically a software which allows you to split up your system's audio into different channels. So if you're a streamer, you have greater control over the volume of different sources of audio on your stream. If you want to learn more about the Elgato Wavelink and how it works, make sure to check out the video up there in the info card because I did a full tutorial about how that works. Anyway, while that's a great software for streamers, you are not required to use it. You only need that software if you want to either update the firmware of the device or dial in any settings of the device. However, once you dialed in the settings, you can save those settings to the hardware and you can use this hardware standalone on a different computer which has no Wavelink installed, and it will work with the settings you saved. By the way, in case you're a VB Audio voice meter user, just like me, you can use this with voice meter. There is not a problem. Another cool thing which I think is absolutely noticeable about this device is it not only works with dynamic microphones, it also works with condenser microphones, hence it has the ability to use phantom power. And while this technically was something my old interfaces could do as well, I had the problem that I have a very quiet microphone, which meant that with my more professional grade audio interfaces, I had to use a dedicated preamp just to boost my microphone's volume so my interface could actually work with the volume. With this device, I don't have this problem anymore. My microphone, which is known to be super quiet, works just fine at about 75% of volume, which is something I really appreciate about this device. And this is something which tells me that when Elgato created this product, they actually looked into the market and did something which is useful to so many of us streamers. So now let's talk a little bit about the controls of this device, and for that I plug it into my MacBook real quick, which, as I said, there is no software running onto it. All the settings were saved to the device, and these are the settings I saved on my computer. The volume of my microphone is currently set to about 75%. If we press the one big dial in the middle once, we change into the headphone settings. Right now, the dial will change the volume of the headphones which are plugged into the 3.5mm jack at the back. If we press the button one more time, we switch into the monitor setting. And in here, we can mix how much of the audio we hear is system audio and how much is the direct monitor of our microphone. In my case, since I don't like direct monitor too much, it's currently turned off. But if I want to have the system audio just as loud as my own voice, I can simply go to about 50%. And right now the system audio as well as the direct monitor is about the same in volume. If we press one more time, we go back to the microphone settings, but there is one more function using that dial in the front, and this is long press. So if you have a microphone that requires phantom power, if you just long press, the device will turn on phantom power and your microphone is now powered through this device. If you press the button again for a longer time, we disable the phantom power. And lastly, on the back of the device, there is the capacitive touch sensor, and why that's a capacitive touch sensor rather than a normal button, we talked about in that video up there. So if we just touch that button, the device will go into mute mode, which mutes your XLR input. You see that my device is currently set up to display a pink ring when it's muted, but that can of course be changed by the Wavelink software. Speaking of the Wavelink software, they are full RGB LEDs and you can change it to whatever color you want. And again, I had professional grade audio interfaces before and none of them was able to create a package as useful, compact and helpful as this one. For example, a mute button. This is the first digital audio interface I ever owned which has a dedicated mute button. I mean, that might not sound to you like something which is noticeable, but since I have this device, I never had to set up any weird mute hotkeys on my keyboard for a Discord or a voice chat in-game or Teams or what. I just hit the audio interface and I know I'm muted because there are lights telling me I'm muted. It's so helpful and actually very good. And that's why I think the Elgato Wave XLR has earned itself a shout out for being one of the best gadgets I bought during this year. I want to shout out this product for really being good and great, and I not once had a problem with it, and that's noticeable. So thanks Elgato for actually creating good products that work and are not complete junk. And thank you to you for still watching this video. Up there is now the playlist with all the other gadget videos we did. And if you like this video, make sure to check out one of the videos which are now here on the end screen. I am Greeny, this is Greenbox, and thank you for watching. Goodbye, see you in the next video. Bye bye, bye, bye.